The movie opens by showing two very different lives unfolding side by side. Liliana, a polished and successful executive, begins her day in a sleek, modern apartment. She goes for a morning run, wears high-end clothes, enjoys a clean vegetarian breakfast, and drives to work in a luxury car. Everyone at the office admires her. She's clearly someone who has her life perfectly together. Meanwhile, in a rougher part of town, Roberto, nicknamed Pesty by his colleagues, wakes up in chaos. He's unkempt, unshaven, and careless with his appearance. He skips showers, doesn't iron his clothes, and lives on greasy, unhealthy food. His tiny house is cluttered, and his lifestyle is the complete opposite of Liliana's. At the office, Liliana meets with her assistant and close friend Martha. The two go over her schedule for the day, but more importantly, they excitedly discuss tonight's plan. Liliana is finally going to confess her feelings to Camilo, a handsome colleague she secretly loved for years. As usual, Pesty shows up late and barrels into the office, annoying everyone around him. His coworkers have long grown tired of his sloppy habits and poor attitude. Meanwhile, Liliana and Martha share a bright moment with Camilo, who they warmly greet, brimming with anticipation for the evening. Then Pesty passes by, and the mood changes. Liliana and Martha barely hide their disgust when they see him. Later, Liliana delivers a big presentation at work, nailing it with confidence. That evening, the office throws a Christmas party. Liliana prepares for the night with care, trying on multiple outfits and hairstyles. She wants everything to be perfect when she finally opens her heart to Camilo. Martha is already at the party, keeping tabs on Camilo and texting Liliana updates so she knows when to make her move. Meanwhile, Pesty tells his friend that he plans to get married soon. When asked if he has someone in mind, Pesty boldly says he's aiming for Liliana. Despite her cold and serious exterior, he believes she's just shy, insecure, and lonely deep down. And tonight is the night he's going to make his move. Liliana arrives at the party looking absolutely stunning. Heads turn as she walks in. Pesty, already drunk, stumbles and falls to the floor. In a drunken outburst, he confesses his feelings to Liliana, but his friend quickly drags him away to stop the embarrassment. Just as Liliana gathers the courage to approach Camilo, a beautiful woman suddenly appears and kisses him, crushing Liliana's hopes in an instant. Pesty gets into a heated argument with one of his coworkers at the party, and his friend urges him to go home, but Pesty, stubborn as always, refuses to leave. Meanwhile, after Camilo's girlfriend leaves for a moment, Liliana starts walking toward him, finally ready to speak her heart. But before she can reach him, she bumps into Pesty. Thinking quickly, she lies and tells him that Martha is secretly in love with him and has been asking about him all night. Caught off guard by the news, Pesty goes to talk to Martha and ask if her feelings for him are real. Now that she sent Pesty away, Liliana heads back toward Camilo, only for the other woman to return just in time to block her once again. Back with Martha, Pesty gently tells her that while he appreciates her feelings, he can't be with her because his heart belongs to someone else, Liliana. He even asks Martha for help in winning Liliana over. Martha, now frustrated, goes back to Liliana and tells her what happened and how Pesty has managed to completely ruin her plan. Liliana sends Martha to distract Camilo's girlfriend, hoping to finally get a moment alone with him. But as Liliana starts to walk toward Camilo again, Pesty appears out of nowhere and begins confessing his love to her. Furious, Liliana drags him into the bathroom and yells at him. She tells him that the only way she would ever be with him is if he were the last man on earth. Then she locks him inside the bathroom. Liliana rushes out to check if Camilo's girlfriend is gone, but Martha informs her that it's too late. Camilo has already left the party with the woman. Heartbroken and crushed, Liliana drowns her sorrows in alcohol. The next morning, she wakes up hungover, lying alone in the empty office. She stumbles outside to find the streets completely deserted. No people, no cars, no noise. Confused and anxious, she rushes home and calls out, but no one answers. The TV doesn't work, and there's no internet. It's like the world has ended and left her behind. She walks the empty streets and eventually reaches a supermarket. It too is completely abandoned. Just as she starts to panic, she hears the sound of clinking bottles coming from one of the aisles. When she turns the corner, there he is, Pesty, sitting on the floor drinking booze straight from the bottle. "Hola, Mona," he says cheerfully. He reminds her of what she said last night. She'd only be with him if he were the last man on earth. "Well, now I am," he grins. Shocked, Liliana runs back to her home, hoping this is all just a dream. She tries to meditate, to calm herself and wake up from the nightmare. As she sits quietly, there's a knock at the door. It's Pesty, with all his bags, and he's completely drunk. He collapses in her doorway before even stepping inside. Liliana gives him water and food to sober him up. When he finally comes to, he realizes this is real. It's not a dream. Liliana tells him she needs help figuring out what's going on. Pesty agrees to help, but starts by washing his face in her fish tank, which only irritates her even more. They head outside together, but still, there's no sign of life anywhere. Back at her apartment, Liliana grows more and more frustrated. Pesty, on the other hand, takes the opportunity to suggest they should repopulate the earth. He starts cooking greasy, fatty food, saying it's way better than her bland vegan meals. "Fat makes people happy," he says. "That healthy stuff just makes you angry." He insists they need energy to start rebuilding humanity. Liliana shuts it down immediately. She has no intention of ever being with him. Not now, not ever. She tells him to pack his bags and be gone by the time she finishes her shower. While Liliana showers, Pesty barges into the bathroom and casually asks if he can hop in too, completely ignoring boundaries. Later, he invites her to have a drink with him. Liliana refuses at first, but eventually gives in. One drink turns to several, and soon both of them are drunk and laughing, sharing personal stories. Liliana opens up and admits how he ruined her big chance with Camilo. Pesty asks her what Camilo has that he doesn't. Liliana laughs and mocks him, saying he's short and definitely not what she'd call attractive. Camilo, on the other hand, is tall, handsome, and perfect. Pesty shrugs it off and tells her looks don't matter. At the end of the day, everyone is equally naked. At first, Liliana doesn't hold back. She tells Pesty straight up that she finds him unattractive and that not even being drunk would make her sleep with him. Her words are harsh, sharp, and final, cutting deep. For a moment, it feels like the tension between them has finally snapped, ending everything in awkward silence. But something shifts. The line between anger and desire begins to blur. Before they can fully process what's happening, they're in each other's arms, passion replacing hesitation. To her surprise, he's nothing she imagined. The moment is electric, leaving her breathless and confused by how natural it feels. But when morning comes, reality returns like a slap in the face. As sunlight pours in through the windows, Liliana is flooded with regret. Embarrassed and furious at herself, she coldly tells him to leave. No explanation, no softness, just a blunt dismissal. He leaves quietly, and she's left alone in the silence. But the more time passes, the less sure she feels. Her regret deepens, not just over what happened, but for pushing him away so fast. Unable to sit with her emotions, she opens the door again and lets him back in. She's not sure what this all means, but one thing is clear. She's not ready to lose him. Weeks pass. Liliana makes them breakfast, rich with fat and flavor. They eat together, laugh, go grocery shopping, drink wine, and make love. They're surprisingly happy. Living together feels easy, fun, even free. For once, nothing feels forced. Then one day, the doorbell rings. It's Martha. Liliana opens the door to find her old friend standing there, disoriented but relieved. Martha explains she woke up alone and confused, unable to remember where to go at first, but once it came back to her, she rushed over. She's excited to see Liliana, excited they're not alone anymore. But then she hears a voice from upstairs, a man's voice. When she sees Pesty appear behind Liliana, her expression changes. Shocked, she begins questioning what he's doing there. Liliana senses this isn't a conversation to have at the door. She pulls Martha aside for a private talk. Once they're alone, Liliana takes a deep breath and tells her everything. That she and Pesty are together now, and that she's in love. Martha is stunned. She struggles to make sense of it. Why him, she asks, genuinely confused. Liliana smiles softly and replies, because I'm happy. Martha might still be surprised, but Liliana's certainty leaves little room for doubt. The next day, Martha starts acting differently, friendlier toward Pesty. Too friendly. She cooks for him and spends more and more time at his side. Soon, they're sneaking around behind Liliana's back. At night, while Liliana sleeps alone, Pesty and Martha start sleeping together. Liliana says nothing, but she notices. She sets a trap. One morning, after pretending to go on her usual run, she comes back early, quietly slipping into the apartment. And just as she suspected, she finds Pesty and Martha in her bed. Furious, she screams at them, feeling utterly betrayed. Not just because they cheated, but because they did it there, in her bed. She tells them both to pack up and leave. If they want to be together, fine, just not under her roof. When she confronts Pesty, he tries to explain. He says he loves them both and wishes he could be with them both. Liliana walks out. She stops by her office mid-run, and that's when something unexpected happens. She sees Camilo. He's alive. He explains that nothing happened that night with the other woman, and that he was looking for Liliana, hoping something could still happen between them. Liliana tells him it's not too late, and they kiss. She brings Camilo back home. When they arrive, she tells Martha and Pesty to leave immediately. She needs privacy now. Before they go, she warns them not to mention anything to Camilo about what had happened in the apartment. Later, Liliana and Camilo make love, but it's disappointing. It ends quickly, leaving her unsatisfied. In contrast, Pesty and Martha, still in the apartment, are loud all night long. In the morning, Camilo tells Liliana he's going to speak to Pesty and Martha. They need to leave. They have no respect for boundaries. Soon enough, the two of them are alone in the house. But Liliana isn't happy. Camilo is boring in bed, disconnected emotionally, and overly obsessed with his skincare. He controls her diet, pushing healthy meals without any fat, and never listens to her ideas. Liliana feels ignored and lonely. She begins to miss Pesty. One day while at the supermarket, she sees him. They talk. They decide to spend New Year's Eve together, with Martha and Camilo too. Later, as the evening ends, Pesty prepares to leave for his travels across Europe. Liliana helps him with his luggage, and as they stand alone outside, he confesses the truth. He's running away. He doesn't want to be with Martha anymore. He says he's told her several times, but she doesn't listen. She clings too tightly. And ever since he left the apartment, he hasn't been able to stop thinking about Liliana. He tells her that he cherishes the fun, the laughter, the happiness they shared, that he's never been more sincere with anyone than he was with her. Then he says it plainly. He's in love with her. Liliana is speechless. Then he asks her, "Run away with me. Let's leave everything behind." She says the idea is crazy. Where would they even go? He says it doesn't matter. The world is empty. They can go anywhere. She says she didn't pack anything, but he tells her they can take whatever they need from any store. She asks what will happen to Martha and Camilo. Pesty reassures her they have each other. At first, she says no. He walks away, and they exchange a quiet, emotional goodbye. But something shifts. She hesitates, then follows him. She catches up and tells him everything about this is insane, but she can't deny what they have. She doesn't want to lose it. She chooses to go. They run off together into the unknown, with no idea what the future holds, only that they want to face it together. The next morning, Liliana wakes up in her apartment. Everything is just like before. She eats her vegan breakfast, goes for a run, and stops by her office. Martha reminds her of the morning meeting and the office party that evening. Martha is excited. Tonight is the night Liliana finally confesses her feelings for Camilo. Liliana realizes it was all a dream. She's been given a second chance. At the party, she sees Pesty again, and to everyone's surprise, he confesses his feelings for her, publicly, honestly, completely. This time, Liliana doesn't hesitate. She takes his hand and asks him to leave the office with her, starting a new chapter, far away from the structured, predictable life they knew. Their exit leaves the room in stunned silence. No one expected it, but there's something undeniably beautiful about it. Their once invisible connection now shines brightly as they walk into a future shaped by their own choices, uncertain but shared. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.